Hi friends, it's Anne here, and today's video is the beginning of my makeup inventory videos. So the next few videos, I don't know if I'll put them up sequentially, but within the next two videos will be my makeup inventory. I always sort of do this in the springtime, mostly because that's when I filmed my first sort of makeup collection video in 2018. So I just feel like it's good to stick to around the same time of year. It's usually sometime between March and May. Hopefully I will be getting these up pretty soon. I feel like it's a good time for me to do this because I'm not really adding anything new right now. So it should be pretty consistent while I film this and by the time it goes up. So how I do this is I just try and go through every sort of major category. If you watch anybody else's sort of inventory type videos, you see that people, categorize things a little differently. There's different sort of buckets that people put stuff in. I'm no different. I have certain ways that I do this, and it has changed over time. And there's certain products that I feel like kind of go into more than one category and I never know what to do with. So for example, this it's in here as a primer, but it could also be a highlight. So anyway, I'm just going to get started. I normally start with like face products first, and then I go through and do eye products and then lip products. And then when I do palettes, so for example, when I get to like face palettes, I do go back and add in a total. So I add in the total of my like single blushes plus blushes within palettes. I hope that makes sense when I get to it. But anyway, we are here at primers. So I do have my numbers from 2020, 2021, last year, and this year. I'm also trying to organize things depending on if I went back and looked at my 2018 video, and I didn't do every category in that video, but if I did do a category, I'm trying to kind of highlight what's still in my collection from when I filmed that in 2018, and I'm sort of organizing things from like oldest-ish, like older stuff on this side to newer stuff on this side. So from about here over on the full-size ones, these ones were in my video last year and these ones are new. And then from here over, these ones were in last year's video and these ones are new. There's nothing in here that was from my 2018 video, but technically this, which is in my Project Pan, was from 2018. I just bought it at the end of 2018. So, numbers. So in 2022, I have 7 mini primers. The minis are this Fab Pores Be Gone primer. I bought the trio of e.l.f. putty primer, so that's the matte, the luminous, and the poreless. I have this mini Urban Decay All Nighter face primer, which actually feels pretty empty, so I should work on finishing that and moving it out. I have this Tatcha, it's the liquid silk canvas primer. This I don't remember the name of this. It's the Glowy Super Gel Lightweight Dewy Highlighter. Right, super long name. So those are my 7 minis. And then for my full size, I have the Fab Coconut Smoothing Priming Moisturizer, which I've mentioned is in my Project Pan. I have the Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. I have the Benefit The Porefessional Primer. This is the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer. This is the Becca Backlit Priming Filter. This is the Heimish Artless Glow Base. And then this is the Wet n Wild Glass Correct Primer. So comparing to previous years, I had 9 primers in 2020, I had 13 in 2021, and I have 14 in 2022. So I'm up by 1, but it's not too bad. Like this one's almost empty and this one's almost empty. So I feel like I do move through primers at a fairly good pace, even though this does seem like a fair amount. I'm okay with this number. Moving on to foundations. So this is fairly similar in number to last year, and a lot of this is pretty similar to last year, but there are some new things, and I obviously did move some stuff out last year. So again, basically most of this stuff, so from the top, these 4 were in last year's video. This side is everything new, and then everything along the bottom was in last year's video except for these 2. Actually, you know what? I think this one was in last year's video. I'm not sure about that one though. Yeah, they were both in last year's video. So everything along the bottom was in last year's video. So quickly going through some of the numbers, I have one stick foundation. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills stick foundation in, I want to say like light beige or something. Cool beige. I have one foundation mixer from NYX. This is the only item in this category that is, I think, from 2018. This is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, I think in the shade Sand. Yes, Sand. This is the Tarte Guard Tinted Moisturizer. This is the Moonshot Cushion Foundation. So these ones are new as of this year's video. This is the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream in number 22. There is a hair on here. This is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This is what's kind of messing my numbers up a little bit. Wet n Wild sent me these like sample foundations in my order online, and I don't know the best way to categorize this. I don't really categorize minis in my foundation because I don't really have minis per se. This one is technically a deluxe size sample, but these are minis. But I count, so they gave me 3 different shades, 2 tubes in 3 different shades. So I'm just kind of counting each one as one foundation. So I've got like one foundation here. I think these are the same shade. Yeah, 327. One foundation there, and a third one right here. Then I've got the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation. This is in a shade that doesn't exist anymore in 240. I've got the CoverGirl Vitalist Elixir Foundation. That's in my Project Pan. I have the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation. I have doubles here because I was doing testing. I did testing on all these foundations last year, so if you want to see those videos, I do have them posted from last year. So this one's the L'Oreal True Match in 2 shades. Then I have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in 2 shades. Then I have the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear in 2 shades. And I've got the Becca Ultimate Coverage Foundation, and then the Becca Skin Love Foundation. Most of these, since they were in my video last year, I'm pretty sure last year I was doing swatches of things. If not, I have swatches on my Instagram of most of these as well. It was pretty wild to see how varied my face products were, particularly the concealers. From 2020, I had 8 sort of BB or light, tinted moisturizers. I had 2 stick foundations. I had 10 regular foundations, and then I had 1 mixer. So the 1 mixer that's going through it is this. In 2022, in total I had 20. In 2021, I had 6 sort of BB or light foundations. I had 2 stick foundations. I had 11 regular foundations and the 1 mixer. And then this year, as of 2022, I have 5 light BB creams or light foundations. I have 1 stick foundation because I did finish one last year. And then I have 14 regular foundations and 1 mixer. So those so the numbers in total was I had 20 foundations in 2022, I had 19 in 2021, and I'm back up to 21 foundations this year. So numbers overall haven't shifted a whole lot on this. I'm really trying not to buy foundation, at least for the first part of this year. I would like to get some of these done, which is kind of making me a little sad because there's a couple foundations that I'd really like to try, but I've got to use up some of these before I buy any more. The next category is concealers. So again, I've sort of organized this like older, newer. This and this were both in my 2018 video. This is a color corrector in green from Physicians Formula, and this is an IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illuminator in Ultra Fair. This is kind of pretty light, but I'm still working on it. So to sort of categorize how I do this, I have 3 what I call color correctors. The other color correctors are this Benefit Boing Brightening Concealer and the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. I have these 3 minis. So this one is a Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. This is the Benefit Boing Industrial Concealer, and then the IT Cosmetics one. And then the rest of these are full size. So I have a CoverGirl True Blend Concealer. I've got the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I've got the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. That's in my Project Pan. This is the original NARS one that I have in Canal. And then I've got these 5 concealers here, which are new. I have the NYX Bear With Me concealer, this Mertzi concealer that I got from Stylevana, the Merit, it's got a funny name. It's not like it's not supposed to be a concealer. I forget the name of that. And then a Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealer. And then the newer NARS concealer that I bought, which is in Creme Brulee. So my totals for this year, I have 3 minis, I have 3 color correctors, and I have 9 full size, for a total of 15. This number has gone up. In 2020, I had 12. And then in 2021, I had 11. So we've definitely gone up in this category. It's definitely going to go up some more because I do want to do some more concealer testing this year. I'm hoping to do that anyway. I keep saying it. We'll see if I can actually get around to doing that. So yeah, this number has definitely gone up. But there's a few minis in there, and a few of them are like at least half empty. Like this one and this one are like half empty or more. So I'm not too worried about this right now. Here we are with sort of the pressed powders. These are either like pressed finishing powders, pressed setting powders, pressed foundation powders. This is technically like, I guess, a palette, but for some reason I keep filming it with this section, and I keep this with like my singles, so I just do it that way. I say it's a palette because it has 2. So this is the Bare Minerals finishing powder. There's a matte and a glowy. You can kind of see I've used the matte a fair amount. Again, I've organized this. These are sort of the older ones, and these are the newer ones. These have all been in my videos since 2018. So I definitely need to work on using these up, which I'm working on this one right now. But yeah, so my numbers are exactly the same as last year because it's exactly the same product. So if we look at from 2020, in 2020 I had 7, in 2021 I had 8, and then in 2022 again 8, and that's because there's 2 in here, so 6, 7, 8. And again, just to kind of go through these, this is the Clinique Almost Powder Makeup, and that's in my project pan. This is a pure 4-in-1 pressed mineral foundation, and this is in the shade, I think, Porcelain. The label's starting to go on that. This is the Sephora Mineral Compact Foundation in the shade R15. That was in my project pan last year. This is the Pure Nata. It's not a foundation. This is the translucent setting powder. It just comes, I bought the powder and the compact separately because you can put other type products in this compact from Pure Nata. And then I have the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Foundation in 170, I think. Yes, 170. And then I have the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in the shade 125. So that's what that one looks like. Okay, loose powders, so like loose setting powder and loose foundation powder. One of these is actually a loose foundation powder. Again, ordered from like some older to newer-ish, because really the only one that's new is this one. This one, technically it's from 2018, but I bought it after, like it was late 2018, November 2018. So yeah, that's my oldest powder. This one's from 2019, that one's 2019. These are 2020, I think, and then this one I bought last year. This is the exact same number as last year, but this product is new, and I finished up the Becca Hydro Mist powder. So again, I have the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. I have the Peach Perfect from Too Faced Mattifying Loose Setting Powder. It's in the shade Translucent Peach Whisper. Didn't realize it had a shade name. These two are a little bit different. This one's a translucent powder, and then this one is a loose foundation in W4 Soft Sand. This is just the Wet n Wild Translucent Photo Focus powder. It's massive compared to everything else. And then this is a Marcel Luminous setting powder, and it's in the shade just Translucent Radiance. So again, exact same number as last year. So if we go from 2020, I had 7 loose powders in 2020, I had 6 in 2021, and I have 6 in 2022, 4 of which are minis and 2 which are full size. Okay, setting sprays. These are the only setting sprays I have. I've been kind of keeping a good like rein in on this. What is going on? Sorry, I'm looking out my window and there's like a ton of people in like fluorescent yellow, like that's like almost a green, fluorescent green vests. There's gotta be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 of them? I have no idea. Anyway, bizarre. Okay, so yeah, this category I've kind of kept under control. I'm going to say, because I've kind of gotten into the habit or kind of in the mindset of that setting sprays don't really work, but I think they kind of do. I do miss my Urban Decay All-Nighter. I haven't bought that in a while, so I think I might buy that either later this year or maybe next year. But yeah, this is the same, or these are almost the exact same as last year. The numbers are the same. I just have like one replacement. So I did finish up a setting spray last year, but I added this one. Sorry, these aren't really in order of new to old because none of these are super old, to be honest. So I have a mini Bella Pierre HD setting spray. The sprayer on this is like super intense. It's like a hairspray spray. Like it's so intense. I'm gonna have to like depot that to use it. I have the Professional Super Setter. This is like a deluxe size. I don't really know, to be honest, if this is as good as Urban Decay All-Nighter. I haven't really put it to the test, to be honest. I've tried to test setting sprays, but they're really hard to test. I think the best way to test is like if you're really active and doing a lot and going out, like, you know, if you're going out to a club or something. I don't do that anymore. I'm working from home, so it's really hard for me to test a setting spray. But anyway, I also bought this Photo Focus. This is sort of like a primer. Oh, that's the French side, I think. Yes, that's the French side. This is a 3-in-1 primer water, so I could have put this in the primers, but it says prep, set, refresh. So I kind of put it with the setting sprays. Oh, I think I cracked the lid. That's a shame. And then the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist, and then the Anastasia Dewy Set. This is actually really dewy. I quite like this. It's not, again, I don't think it prolongs your makeup, but it definitely gives you like a dewy look on your face. So if you like a dewy look, you would like that. So again, the numbers from 2020, I had 5. 2021, I had 5. And 2022, I have 5. So pretty consistent in that category. Now we are on to highlighters. So how I do this is I'll go through sort of like the single products, so like the single highlighters, single blushes, single bronzers, those things. And then I'll go through all my face palettes. Then I go back and add everything up. So I'll give a total of the total number of highlights I have, including highlights that exist, like individual highlights that exist in palettes, and add that all up. I hope that makes sense. It does get a little hairy trying to do all the math, and I'm not always 100% perfect at it, but I try my best. So these are the single items. Again, mostly older through to newer. Some things that were in my 2018 video, this Artist Couture one was there. The Temptu BoxyCharm was there. The Essence Pure New Highlighter was there. And this little guy from Ofra was there. These are sort of the newer ones that I've recently picked up. So just to kind of walk through each item I have, this is Ofra Bliss. It's really old. I got, I think, this in a Ipsy or BoxyCharm. This is from the NYX Highlight and Contour palette. This is in the shade Ice Queen. I don't think they sell that anymore. At least I couldn't see it on their website, I don't think. This is a little single from Clionadh in the shade Mini. It was like a limited edition shade for charity. This is the highlighter from Pretty Vulgar. It's the Shimmering Swan highlighter, and the shade is Glimmers of BS. That's what that one looks like. These are actually 2 singles from the Carli Bybel palette. So this was sort of that like pinky purple shade. And then this was the white shade from that palette. And this is a loose powder from Artist Couture. It's the Diamond Glow powder in Illuminati. It's kind of gold based. And I did do a highlighter ranking video where most of these are in that video. So these are my cream or liquid ones. So this is the Milk Makeup in Lit. This is in my Project Pan. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 1, I think. No, 2. This is in the shade 2 Fair. This is the Temptu BoxyCharm Liquid Glow. I usually mix this in with foundation. And this is the Merit Highlighter in Bounce. And I have the Kevyn Aucoin Celestial Powder in Chandelier. It's more of a finishing powder, to be honest. It's not super highlighty compared to other stuff. This is the Becca Lunar New Year from the Year of the Pig. This one I think many are familiar with. It's the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I did have that in my Project Pan last year and hit pan at the bottom there. This is the Ofra highlighter from the Samantha March collab, the original one. It's the shade Start Inspired. That's what that one looks like. This is the Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl in Diamond Dust. That's what that one looks like. It's actually very pink, even though it looks white. This is the Catrice More Than Glow highlighter in the shade Supreme Rose Beam. This is the Wet n Wild highlighter in Blossom Glow. This is the ColourPop highlighter, the Super Shock highlighter in Flexitarian. This is a mini highlighter from Becca in the shade Opal. And that's it. So numbers wise, this category has gone up, although I mean, it went up with these two, but they already existed in my collection, so I'm not too stressed about that. 2020, I had 14 highlighters. 7 were powder, 7 were cream. 2021, I had 15 highlighters. 11 were powder, and 4 were cream or liquid. And then in 2022, I have 20 highlighters. So 4 are cream or liquid. I think they're almost similar to, actually no, they're slightly different than what I had last year. I think these 2 are new. I know this one's new. And I did at least finish up one. And 16 are powder. So definitely have gone up in this category, at least from a singles perspective. Now we're on to the single blushes. This is another category that has grown in my collection. I've been more into blushes lately than I have in the past. I used to hate wearing blush. I actually never wore blush for years, but now I'm starting to really warm up to it and like it quite a bit. So again, these are these 4 are sort of my oldest ones. These 3 were actually in my 2018 video. This one wasn't, but I got this this one was too, sorry. So all 4 of these were in my 2018 video. These are all pretty newish though, I'm not gonna lie. There's not a whole lot that's super old here except for those. And then my Tarte blush palette. So just kind of going through, this is my Annabelle one. I'm not gonna show it because open it up because this is in my Project Pan. This is the Tarte Party blush. So this was the one that everyone had, I think. A lot of people got because we got this in the Sephora kit. So I still have mine, but nice big pan in there. This is a single blush that I bought from NYX. I think it's called Amber. Yes, this is in the shade Amber. This is a single of Orgasm from NARS. This was in a little duo. This one's looking really rough. I should try and work on that. It's super hard pressed though, so it would take forever to finish. This is a single blush from Annabelle, and this is in the shade Pronto. It's a nice neutral shade. So this is a single blush from Peri Para. This is in the shade Milk Tea Coral. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, I think they call it like Cheek to Chic Swish Glow Blusher in Pillow Talk. This one is one I got from a Tribe Beauty box. This is from the brand Folly Fire, and it's in the shade Guilty. It's a nice sort of mauve-y type shade. It's focused on that. And I have this single from Manicadar, and it's in the shade Passion. So that's what that one looks like. It's got a bit of a sheen to it. Then this is the single from Benefit in the shade Dallas. This is the newer formula, newer shade. This is a single from the ColourPop Sailor Moon collection in Cat's Eye. I love this packaging. That's what that one looks like. Super cute. This is from The Balm in the shade Down Boy. It's very punchy pink. This one is from the Ofra Samantha March collection in Chick Lit. So there's it's like a duo shade. There's two colors in there. And the one side is like shimmery and this side is like matte. This was a depotted, it came in like a little baggie from Pure Nat. It was just a sample in the shade Camella. This is a David's Tea tin. I don't know how well you can see. Oh, there you go. It's a pretty bright color. And this is a single from Becca. This is in the shade Foxtrot. It's a really bright color. I love this color though, but it's intense. And then for my cream blushes, I have this one from Rare Beauty. It's in the shade Nearly Neutral. Been working on that in one of my projects. This is the Quo Featherweight Cream Blush in the shade Heavenly. This is the Juicy Pang Blusher, which always looks like a nail polish, and it's in the shade, I have no idea. I'll put it on the screen. I don't know the shade name of that one. Or maybe it's just a number. And then I've got two from Merit here. So this one is in Beverly Hills. So that's what Beverly Hills looks like. And then this one is in the shade Cheeky. It's a little bit of a deeper mauve-y shade. So numbers wise, so in 2020 I had 6 blushes. I had 5 powder and 1 that was a cream or liquid. In 2021 I had 14, 11 were powders and 3 were cream or liquid. And then in 2022 I have 19, so definitely going up. I have 15 that are powders and 4 that are cream or liquid. Okay, here we are with the single bronzers. So again, most of this is actually fairly new-ish to me. The only thing that's from here that was from my 2018 video is this one. This is that NYC bronzer that I just slowly keep working on. And technically this was around in 2018 because this is a combo of, this is my Franken bronzer. It's a combo of like some of the NYX powders that I had those in 2018 and then what was in this compact. So yeah, pretty much, again, these are more the newer things, and these are more the older things. So I'm not going to show you this one because I don't want to spoiler alert that one, but that's my Franken bronzer for my Project Pan. This one is a bronzer from NYC. This is the Laguna bronzer that came in the birthday kit from last summer, or last year, summer for me. This is the Too Faced, I think they call it Natural Lust bronzer. So that's what that one looks like. This is a mini from Annabelle, the Perfect Bronze in the shade, just bronzer. I don't think it has any other shade name on there. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. So just the regular matte one. This is the Becca, what do they call this? Sunlit bronzer in Bronzed Bondi. That's what that one looks like. This is the Rimmel Radiance Brick in the shade Medium. It's that guy. This is the Buxom Staycation Vibes Bronzer in Rooftop Tan. This is the newest one to me. I just got this one last month. This is the Ofra bronzer from the Samantha March collection in River. That's what that one looks like. I was using this in a, am I still using this? I can't remember. Yes, I think I'm still working on this in a Project Pan. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in Palm Beach Reddies. This one's a bit, it's got like a shimmer to it. It's not just matte. And then I have two cream bronzers. The first one is this one from Nudestix in the shade Sun-Kissed. That's the brush. This one's kind of like a deep reddish color. And then the Tower 28 Bronzino bronzer in West Coast. And this one has a bit of a gold shift to it. And then I'm including this here because it's the only one. I have one contour, one single powder contour. This is from that NYX Highlight and Contour palette, and this is in the shade Hollow. So looking at numbers, in 2020, I had 5 single bronzers. In 2021, I had 10. So these were the same two, I'm pretty sure these are the same 2 cream bronzers. Let me just look at my video. It will tell me. Yep, these are the same 2 cream bronzers that I've had before. And then I have 11 powder bronzers. So in total, I have 13 bronzers. So I've gone up by 3 since last year. And then I just have that one single contour. Now we're moving on to the palette, the face palette type collection. So I have things that are like what I call multi or just like face palettes. So these are just the face palettes. They have like a mix of products in them. Then I have some that are like just a blush palette or just a highlight palette. So again, these are the sort of like multi palettes. The oldest one really is this one. Everything else is fairly new-ish. Oh, that one's upside down. Let's put that way. So this is the Anastasia Contour Cream Kit. I kind of consider these more like concealers. And then 2 of these I consider bronzers. And this one I consider to be more of a contour. Then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. So this has a bronzer and a highlight in it. Then I have this e.l.f. palette. I put the name on the back. It's the Soft and Subtle palette. It says something else on here. Beauty something. Oh, it's Beautifully Bare, I think is what they call it. So I think my camera cut me off when I was talking about this palette. I don't know where I ended off at, but it has sort of 2 blushes, 1 highlight and 1 bronzy contour type shade. This is sort of a new addition, and I don't have any other palettes like this. This has eyeshadow and a blush. So there's 4 eyeshadows on top, and then a little blush on the bottom. And I've got the Tarte Hamptons Weekender palette, which has a blush, bronzer, and highlighter. And I have this CoverFX. This is the Light Medium Perfector Face Palette. I think a lot of people recognize this from BoxyCharm. So again, it's got quite a few different things. 2 highlighters, 3 highlighters if you include that, a finishing powder, a contour, and a blush. I include this as a palette, but it could also go in the singles because really it's more just like, it's a single blush and a single highlight, so it's pretty small. I guess that's the same as this. It's tiny. This is the e.l.f. Bite Size palette in Lychee. I actually like to use it as an eyeshadow. And then this is my Hourglass palette from my Project Pan. So that's what that looks like. 2 finishing powders, a highlight, a bronzer, and 2 blushes. So this is a category I've kept fairly under control. I know myself, I don't use palettes a whole lot, like face palettes, so I need to make sure I don't, as pretty as they are and as much as I like the concept and think, oh, it's oh so convenient, I don't really use them. I've learned that for myself. So in 2020 I had 8, 2021 I had 9, and this year in 2022 I have 8. blush palette. So nothing here is new, but nothing is old except for this is from 2018, and I think this is as well, but this would have been end of 2018. So actually this is from 2017. So nothing super new, but nothing super old other than this, I guess. So this is the Tarte Blush Bazaar from the 2017 holiday. So I categorize this as a blush palette, even though it's technically a multi-use, because there is the two highlighters, but it's predominantly a blush palette, and in my mind it's a blush palette, so that's just where it goes. I just accept that fact. So it has 8 blushes and 2 highlighters. Then I have this palette that I forget about all the time. I've had this one for quite a while too. This is actually I think this one was in my 2018 video as well. This is just a regular blush palette from e.l.f. I think this is like a light version. I think there was a deep version as well. This is the Cheek Leaders Mini Pink Squad. Again, this one technically I guess is a highlight tickle, but it's more of a blush topper for me, so this is a blush palette to me. But that is technically I guess a highlighter. Then I have this Jouer Duo it's the Cheeky Summer Duo, and it's Terracotta Sands and Hot Coral. It's a little damaged. And then I just have this little quad thing from Color Workshop, and again, 4 blushes. Technically, I guess that's a highlight. Is that light enough for highlight? Yeah. But again, it's more of like, to me, it's a blush palette. So numbers wise, this is the exact same as last year. And in 2020, I had 4. I think it was this one I added in 2021, maybe? No, that was 2020. I don't know. Anyway, I had 4 apparently in 2020. I think maybe I didn't include this. I think that was maybe in a face palette thing. Anyway, I had 5 last year and I have 5 this year. So again, this category has stayed essentially the same. Highlight palettes, I have 3, and this one has been around since early 2018. So this was in that video. I don't know when I got this one. Oh, April 2018. So this one is almost just as long. It's probably just missed the cut. Maybe it was in that video. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is the Anastasia Glow Kit Sun Dipped highlighting palette. Again, this is really beautiful. I love these shades. I just never use this. I have to like purposely remember to use this. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should take these out. I could probably put them in, they would probably fit that Pure Annata single container. That's an idea. Anyway, there's that one. And then this is the Aurora Glow Kit from ABH. Again, haven't used it a whole lot, but I do like playing with that one. Again, I like kind of playing it as eyeshadows. And then just another little kit another little palette thing from that Color Workshop. And again, this is just all highlighters. So the highlighter palettes are purely highlighters. I mean, technically, I guess this one might not be a highlighter. Like, it's pretty deep for me to be a highlighter. I don't think I could use it as a bronzer. Yeah, no, I could not use it as a bronzer. I could maybe mix it with a bronzer. That's probably the only shade that, like, I'll never really get a whole lot of use out of. Anyway, this category has actually gotten down by 1 because I had the e.l.f. highlighter palette. So I had 4 highlight palettes in 2020, I had 4 in 2021, and then I have 3 in 2022. And yeah, the one that I ended up decluttering was that e.l.f. cream shimmer palette thing. And 2 sort of one-off things I have. I have 1 bronzer palette. Again, this was in my video from last year. This is just from that Color Workshop thing. Again, it's just 4 little bronzers in a little palette. And then this is new-ish to me. This came in Top Box, I want to say. Again, I keep forgetting I have this. This is a concealer or a color correcting palette. It says concealer palette. Can't open it. Bloody hell, I couldn't open that. It says concealer palette on the front, but it's actually a color correcting palette. So there's that from Bella Pierre. So those are 2 one-off sort of things. And again, that's been around for a while and that's new. Okay, here we get into like some total numbers when I add some stuff up to previous categories. So for example, single blushes plus blushes in palettes. I might double check this after the video. So whatever I put on the screen is the correct number. Whatever I say might not be the correct number. But as of right now, let me just talk about what's in palettes. So in all of these palettes I just talked about, I had 6 concealers or like color correctors. Previously, I had 3 in 2020 and 2021. Finishing powders, I have 3 finishing powders. In 2020, I had 4. In 2021, I had 3. And again, this year I have 3. Like highlight pans within palettes. In 2020, I had 25. Last year, I had 33. This year, I'm down to 26, so I'm pretty happy about that. I think that's actually pretty good. Again, I guess that's the e.l.f. palette and then the Carli Bybel palette. I'm not sure what else I maybe finished or got rid of. Blush pans. So in 2020, I had 22 blush pans in palettes. In 2021, I had 26. This year I have 27, so not too bad. I'm up by 1. Bronzers. So I had 13 bronzers in face palettes. Last year I had, that was in 2020. Last year I had 12, and then this year I have 10. So again, that's gone down. And then contours in face palettes. So in 2020 I had 6. In 2021 I had 8. And then in 2022 I have 2 within face palettes. And then face powders is actually an interesting category. I had like face powders in palettes, and in 2020 I had 6. In 2021 I had 5, and as of this year, right now, there's no face powder in any of these palettes, like just a generic face powder. So that's kind of fun. So going back to some totals. So in total for highlights, if I add together my single highlights plus highlights in pans. So in 2020, I had 39 total highlighters. In 2021, that jumped up to 48. And then this year, I have 46. So again, I've gone down a little bit. Total blushes, again, another big jump. In 2020, I had 28 blushes. That's singles plus what's in palettes. 2021, I had 40. And then that's where the big jump was. And then we still have another jump. In 2022, I have 46. And then bronzers in 2020, I had 18. In 2021, I had 22. And then this year, I have 23. So I've only gone up by 1 in that category. I feel like bronzers for me are manageable. I feel like I do go through bronzers fairly fast compared to like blush and highlight. And then some other categories. So in concealers or color correctors, so I had 15 concealer and color correctors individually. I have 6 within palette, so in total I have 21. Pressed face powder, so when I talk about like sort of the Fenty face powder, like any of those pressed face powders, I had 8 individual ones. I have 3 within palettes, so that's a total of 11. And then contours, I had that one single contour from NYX, and then I have 2 contours within these palettes, so that's a total of 3 contours. And then total number of items. So when I add up individual pans in each of these palettes, in 2020, I had 79 individual items in these palettes. I had 90 last year, and then this year I have 74. So that's gone down. So I'm kind of happy about that because, again, it's a category that I just need to manage a little bit better because I know it's not something I use regularly, so I don't want to go crazy with face palettes because I'm so tempted by buying face palettes all the time, but I really just don't use them as much as individual items. So yeah, this I think wraps up the first part of my inventory video. Numbers are, for the most part, pretty steady. Like I had a pretty big jump over the past couple of years, but I feel like from this year, like from 2021 to this year, it's been fairly manageable. I'd say the only category that's really gone out of control, or the worst one, is blushes. I did kind of go blush crazy last year. So anyway, stay tuned. My next video will be eye products, so like eyeliner, mascara, eyeshadow palettes. And then if that's, if it's reasonable in length, I might put my lip products with that as well, or I'll do my lip products separately. Yeah, so that's it. If you like this video, feel free to give it the little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye!